Hello, everyone. Welcome to my brand new Ask Me Anything podcast. This is my first episode, and I have already collected a bunch of questions from you, so let's do this. Question number one: what kind of notes would you recommend writing to attract subscribers to my newsletter? Currently, I'm focusing on three kinds. Share my expertise in bite sized pieces, plus personal stories, plus experiences. Would love to get your thoughts on this. I love that question. I can identify three main types of notes that make a big difference for me. Number one, notes connected to my learning curve. I share my struggles, those are highly relatable. Number two, walk the talk notes. I share my results from applying the methods I paywall. People ask me how I do it in the comments, and I tell them to read my newsletter. Number three, notes connected to my paywalled posts. I write notes before and after I publish a paywalled post. Before, I publish some notes on the same topic. After, restack two notes, pieces of the free part of the post. And here's what I do not do on notes by all means. I don't promote anything on notes. I think people are irritated by that. I don't share any links on notes except when I restack a quote from my posts. I don't try to sell on notes, just talk about the value of my paywalled content and the outcomes it delivers. Question number two: what's the most important difference between Substack and other platforms? Why? Now, that's an easy one. But wait, compared to newsletter platforms like Kit or writing platforms like Medium, compared to Kit, previously known as ConvertKit. So, what are the benefits of Substack? One, it's free, you pay no subscription fees to use it. Two, it has organic discoverability. I think that's the major difference which makes Substack so unique. You can gain new subscribers organically without having to pay for them. And what are the downsides of Substack? One, no integrations. There are no API protocols, so you can't connect it to other platforms to automate stuff. Two, no automations. You can't build sequences and funnels. Unfortunately, what about the benefits of Kit? One, integrations. You can build tons of sequences and funnels. You can tag subscribers and send personalized newsletters. Two, automations. You can build sequences and funnels. This is priceless. And the downsides of Kit: one, it's not free. There are fees as it is positioned more as a software service. Two, no organic discoverability. You need to find out how to gain new subscribers, either use social media or services like Sparkloop. Now, compared to Medium, I can talk for hours here, but I'll try to be short. The long list of benefits of Substack: one, you gain subscribers and not followers. You own your audience. You can get subscribers from Medium, but that's rather rare. Two, you manage your own revenue. You decide if and how much you make out of your writing. Three, you don't depend on an algorithm to earn. You send directly to your subscribers and your earnings are entirely under your control. Four, healthy business model. Substack earns money when you earn money, so the platform is helping you earn more. Five, no censure. You can write about whatever you like. Substack was originally built to give freedom to independent journalists who wanted to speak up and share their genuine opinions without getting banned, penalized, or rejected. It's not the case with any other platform. Six, my favorite: you have the freedom to use AI or not. Medium has banned that. What about some downsides of Substack? None? No, seriously. All right, I'll be honest, just one downside. Substack has a worse search engine optimization compared to Medium, but that's it. And I think it will improve in the future. Question number three: do you often link to the articles from the notes? Nope. Like I said, I don't add links in my notes. The algorithm does not penalize links, like on most social media platforms. But I see these notes perform worse than others, and to be honest, they don't even get any traction. Question number four: How often do you post, and do you schedule your notes in any way or plan them? Do you have a strategy you adapt according to your growth? I believe this question was about notes and not posts. So I post a note every single day, at least one per day. Some days I post more, but usually it's one daily. As for my posts, I try to post twice or more per week. I believe that the more you post, the more you earn. I don't schedule, but I do keep a draft post with many notes ready to be posted. And whenever I get an idea, I add it into that draft. It helps me on very busy days when I don't really have the time to write a note. Not that this takes too long, but yeah. I also use my custom-made GPT called Notes Writer. It helps me structure and edit faster as I trained it with the templates I developed for notes. The templates, the custom GPT, and my entire strategy is available in my Notes 30 monthly challenge. Question number 5. Did you find some notes convert better than others? Yes, it's that definitely. I gain more subscribers from notes that are about Substack journey. I believe this is because they're most relatable. A lot of the people on notes currently are writers, that's why. But I believe this will change in the future as Substack grows. Question number 6. What is the main source of subscribers in your case? Recommendations, publish in notes. I think the number one channel is recommendations right now for me. Next is notes. Those two channels compound to more than 95% of my subscriber growth. But people who recommend me have found me through notes. So notes is the place to be right now. All you need is to stay active there. Question number 7. Can you tell me how to scale up subscribers? Notes. Be on notes. All you need to do is to write at least one daily and to stay active and engage with other people. I see some writers import subscribers they gain outside of Substack, which is also a good strategy. The problem is that with this you can expect a conversion rate of 1 to 3%, while subscribers who are native to Substack are more likely to convert with rates going above 15%. Question number 8. What ratio of articles, notes, chats would you suggest? Notes is daily, that's it. Now, about posts. Most people say once a week is enough. I believe it's not. I think optimal is every other day or several times per week. Chats, I'd go with once a week. Question number 9. How do you market, so non-promote yourself outside of Substack? Love that one. I post on X and on Medium. Also, I have added my Substack link in my bio everywhere. I definitely could do more and be more active. And that are my plans for the future. It's because I have already gained decent amount of free and some paid subscribers from both platforms. I also run paid traffic ads on X, leading people to my Substack targeting paid subscribers, and I have earned some already, but the organic channel is better. Question number 10. How should we be ideally using Substack's notes? Should we just consider this X and write anything? Nope. I post notes that are mostly related to my newsletter niche. I use this strategically since this is a growth channel. I want to be able to gain the right people, those who are interested in my newsletter, who have the potential to convert to paid in the future. So I wouldn't recommend to go random. Question number 11. How did you start building community and paid subscribers? Good one. So about community, I did my homework. I researched what works on Substack, and I saw that using community features boosts your conversion rates. That's why I decided to start being more active on notes and use the chat. I also started my 2 challenges to boost engagement. Now, paid subscribers. I think what helped me convert free subscribers to paid ones is the following. 1. Writing consistently. 2. Post at least one note a day, at least one post every week. 3. I enabled payments right from the start and started paywalling the most valuable part of my writing and not the whole post. 4. I actively engage with others on the platform, staying active in chats, reading, commenting, and restacking their content, etc. To wrap it up, Substack is all about quality and consistency. I write a lot about how to grow your paid subscribers. You might want to check my Right to Sell column. Question number 12. Can you estimate how much effort it took to become a bestseller? Yes, it is a lot of work. Most of my time goes to Substack currently. I have a day job, so my time is limited. I don't get up early, even if I very much want to. I'm active for a few hours in the evenings and several hours during the weekends. Question number 13. What's your process for repurposing content to other platforms? Everything I paywall is exclusive to Substack. Everything else I post on Medium and repurpose on X and Quora. It usually looks like this. First, I post a note on Substack. Next, I expand to a post on Medium, which I also post on Substack for free. Medium post has a link to Substack post for people who are not Medium members. This way, I gain subscribers on Substack from Medium. Next, I share snippets of the post to X and Quora. On top of this, I plan and create exclusive content for paid members on Substack. I use my custom-made GPTs to speed up the process, especially for notes and social media. I usually write the exclusive content myself. That's my flywheel. Question number 14. What advice do you have for people who want to have a free newsletter? Do it. Just keep in mind that it's a bit of a conflict of interest with Substack. My expectation is that this will be limited in the future. It's not easy to run a paid newsletter. Here's my pros and cons evaluation. Benefits of a free newsletter. 1, it's simple and easy. 2, you can have monetization as of the start. 3, it grows faster organically on Substack. Downsides of a free newsletter. 1, it's against Substack business model. 2, it needs constant creation of new offers on top of your content to monetize. 3, you need strong sales skills to monetize with digital products. Benefits of a paid newsletter. 1, in line with Substack business model. 2, no need to have sales skills, but they help. 3, your content is your offer. No need to constantly create new offers. Downsides of a paid newsletter. 1, it's way more complex. It's a business tool. It needs more time to compound the effect of paid subscribers. You can make more money in the start with a free newsletter, but a paid newsletter will bring you more recurring income in the long run. I would do both. Question number 15. How you organize your content creation? Not the strategy itself, but the way you have the overview about what to write, when to publish it, when to repurpose it, and so on. I use an app called Notability. I simply have a to-do list for the week and I follow it. Question number 15. Should people have a specific niche for Substack? I saved the best for the last. Short answer. Yes. Don't trust people who say you don't need a niche. See, they're right. You can talk about anything, but first you need to become known for something. These people all started with a niche. I like to think of a niche as just one reader, not a topic, just one reader and their problems. If you can specify that, you have your niche. And with that, I'll finish this first episode. That was all for today. I hope you enjoyed it. Until next time.